At this point in time, we're actually one of the most advanced companies in the business for HDR across an entire ecosystem. And what I mean by that is we do everything from making little mini converters where you can trigger the HDR handshake with HDMI displays, for instance. But we also have I/O cards for editors and VFX guys that support HDR on both input and outputs. We have digital recorders and players like the Key Pro Plus that can actually capture HDR and play it back out again, which is key. And then most importantly, we have a really great working relationship with ColorFront. And if you're not familiar with ColorFront, they are some of the best color scientists on the planet. And with our FS-HDR, which is a 1RU device that does real-time conversions from standard dynamic range to high dynamic range between the different high dynamic range approaches, HLG and PQ, and also converting camera formats. You know, that device we brought out about a year ago now. It's sold like hotcakes. We have come out with a version 2.6 firmware. It includes extra BBC HLG LUTs. It includes more transformations from HDR to even ARRI C-Log, for instance. And we've added the ability to actually allow you to load your own 3D LUTs, which is key as people work with various cameras and looks they want to do for their production. You can bring that in and you effectively have a LUT box going. Actually, the truth is, when it comes to HDR, we've had as much success in the AV space as we have in traditional broadcast and production. Why is that? Well, it's a lot to do with the LED displays. So live events, for instance, whether it's sports stadiums, whether it's live music concerts. The whole point of HDR is it allows you to have a much larger dynamic range and luminance between your blacks and whites, but it also gives you a much broader landscape for your colors. And so we have found that in the AV space, particularly when it comes to entertainment, sports-driven items, it's really been embraced. So 12G-SDI, and if you're not that familiar with it, the whole point of 12G-SDI is the bandwidth. So you've got a lot of bandwidth down a single pipe. And what that allows us to do as a manufacturer is give you 4K on a single cable, a lockable cable. It allows us to give you deep color and high frame rate. And we've been making a number of products from mini converters to routers to handle 12G-SDI because it also gives you a lot of density. And at this particular show, our latest Kona cards, our Kona is our line of desktop I/O cards, now has 12G-SDI. So we've got 4 bidirectional ports. And that allows you to come in straight from a camera, perhaps. It allows you to take a 4K signal out over a single cable. And that combined with the fact that it has an HDMI 2.0 output means you can obviously view this on very affordable displays. So, you know, again, for AV scenarios, what a lot of people are looking for there is to cut down on cabling and that type of thing. It gets expensive, and when you have multiple cables that say 4 times 3G SDI to do 4K, it takes longer to troubleshoot which one of the 4 is giving you a problem. In the big scheme of things, when you're trying to take a lot of complexity and a lot of vendors, because what IP does is it means anybody you can get on with all sorts of toolkits, you need to make them easy to connect to each other. So I think the current dialogue we're in shows that we're mature about it. We're doing it as an industry group through groups like AIMS. It's not all proprietary stuff, and it's been thought through very well, and I think we're well on the road to the next phase.